Welcome back, weavers. Today we'll be having some fun with colour gradations. This technique is used to create subtle and seamless transitions between colours using multiple strands of weft yarn. It can also be used to create your own new colours. Here is an example of a very subtle gradation. Today we'll be gradating through these three colours: blue, blue-green and green, starting with the blue. So we have just finished a section of orange weaving. Let's tuck in the end to finish off this colour. At this stage I should note that the colour gradation technique requires that you weave with at least 2 strands of weft yarn. We have already been weaving with 2 strands, so let's continue with 2 strands of our first colour, the blue yarn, using 2 lengths of about 32 inches. Starting from the right hand edge, we continue in plain weave, tucking in our ends before we complete the first row. We are now going to weave in plain weave for 5 complete rows. I'll speed up the video a little for this part. If you need a refresher in plain weaving, please click on the link above to watch my video on this technique. It is most important to bubble the weft as shown here to make sure your weaving doesn't pull in at the edges. Once you have woven 5 rows of plain weave, come back in plain weave for half a row, as shown here. Then cut the end of the yarn, leaving a tail of about 2 inches, and push it over the top of the next warp thread and to the back of the weaving. We now start the gradation with 1 strand of the blue yarn and 1 strand of the blue-green yarn. Tuck about 2 inches of each end to the left of the warp thread we just covered with the 2 blue strands, and to the back as shown here. Now continue weaving the rest of the row in plain weave with this new colour mix, making sure you hold the end of the new yarn as you pull it through for the first time. We are now going to weave a further 5 rows with this new colour mix. Once we have done this, we are going to weave about 3/4 of the way across the next row. Changing the colour at different points along the row will reduce the appearance of stripes and will make the colour changes more seamless. Next we will change to 2 strands of the blue-green shade. Complete the row and then weave another 5 rows of plain weaving. Once we have completed a further 5 rows, we will come back a part way along the next row. As you will see here, I'm stopping at a different point along the row to do our next colour change. Our next section will be woven with 1 strand of the blue-green yarn and 1 strand of the green yarn. And we will weave a further 5 rows. The final step in the gradation will be to weave a section in 2 strands of the green yarn. Stepping through the gradation this way ensures an even gradation through the colours. If you want a more subtle gradation, you can splice the weft yarns as shown here. This means that you are effectively working with 4 strands of colour rather than 2. As this yarn is comprised of 4 strands that have been plied together, if we split this in half, you can work a 4-step gradation. So here we have a full strand of the green plus a half strand of the green and a half strand of the blue-green. So this means that after each section of weaving, you will swap out a half a strand with the next shade. Weaving the same number of rows for each section, and working my way back to the blue, you can see how much more subtle the gradation is in the top section of this weaving sample. You can also try using multiple strands of finer yarns instead of splicing the yarn. Thank you for watching. If you're interested in learning more about weaving, please visit and subscribe to my Weave with Pat YouTube channel. And for unique yarns and crafting ideas, visit my Etsy shop or my website, patriciacantosdesign.com.